So let's talk about the AnyConnect VPN now. So now AnyConnect VPN is the client VPN. So previously we have done clientless. So now what we are going to do that is we are going to install a client within these PCs. And once we install that client, using that client, we are going to communicate with our ASA. Now, coming to the point now where the difference over here is that so in SSL clientless is that you are accessing the interface of that your ASA and your web page is open and you're accessing within that one. That's like very much contained. But here what we are doing is actually we are not connecting to a web page. Instead, we are forming a tunnel between these two connections. And top of that, we do have an ability that if you want this PC to go to google.com, you can use this tunnel. But what we can do to this tunnel is that we can define the characteristics saying that I want only traffic to be encrypted and traffic to be forwarded on this tunnel only and only if the user is trying to communicate with any of these servers. That's it. So apart from this traffic, interesting traffic, if there is any traffic which the user is saying that google.com, it should go normally with their using their ISP connection. But whenever the user is trying to communicate with any of my internal servers, that is where the traffic should be encrypted and forward onto the tunnel. Now, the next thing is that unlike the, what do we say, SSL clientless VPN over there, the user was pretty easy. So they click on the bookmark and it has given access to your server. But here the user is going to open its own browser. Within that browser, he is going to type in the URL where he wants to communicate. So now we cannot expose these IP addresses to the user because we are not sure that the user computer may be compromised or not. So that's what we are going to do is that we are going to do the NATing. So we will do the NAT saying that if the user is being authenticated, after authentication, if the user is trying to communicate with the sales server, the server should be NATed to this address. And the marketing server, the server should be NATed to this address, which we are going to configure. We did not have this ability on the SSL client side, but we do have the ability to now to do the NAT. So we do have the ability to do the NAT now. Now, again, in order to resolve this marketing.cisco.com and the sales.cisco.com, we have to make sure that we advertise the FQDNs on the internet using their NATed IP address. So we are assuming that these IP addresses are the public IP addresses 17.16.2.1.1 and 17.16.2.1. So whenever the user says that I want to communicate with sales.cisco.com, the ISP is going to resolve that one and send it to the PC saying that this is the IP address. Whenever the IP address is being checked, the client will see that, okay, so this is 17.16.2.1. So this IP address means this traffic should be encrypted. So that's why this traffic will be encrypted. All right, so let's go ahead and configure. We will be configuring using the CLI and we will be also configuring using the ASDM. Now with the AnyConnect, both of them works perfectly fine. There is no issues with that. But the only thing is that if you are using 4.9 version of the AnyConnect, so we do have some problem over there. So once the first time the connection will be made while configuring the ASDM or the CLI, when you disconnect and reconnect the second time, that's where the connection does not happen. So it's the application problem, not the so do not use the 4.1. So use 4.8 or 4.10 or 4.4 is the best one. All right, so let's go ahead and configure that one. So first what I will do is that I will set up my ISP as the DNS server. So I will go to ISP and I will say that no IP DNS server. And now I will create one loopback here 1.1.1 so that both the PCs can utilize that interface as a DNS server. So I will say that interface loopback 0, IP address will be 1.1.1, and IP DNS server. And I will say that IP host asav.sysable.com, that should be mapped to 210.100.1.1, and IP host sales.sysable.com, that should be mapped to 17.16.1.1, and IP host marketing.sysable.com should be mapped to 17.16.2.1. And that's it. So now let's go and configure the ASA now. So this is the blank ASA. So I will say config the host name will be ASAV, and interface gig0/0 name if will be outside, and IP address will be 210.100.1.1. And no share interface gig0/1 name if will be inside, IP address will be 10.0.0.1. And interface gig0/2 name if will be DMZ, security level will be 10.0.1.1. Okay, such security level should be 50, but not a problem. And security level 50 and no share exit. Interface management 0/0 name if will be MGMT. Security level will be 100 and IP address will be 150.1.7.26. And no share. I will enable the ASDM, HTTP server enable, HTTP 00 MGMT, and that should do it. So now that's the configuration. Let's configure the router EIGRP1. No auto summary. Network will be 10.0.0 and network 10.0.1.0 and default route, default information. Okay, I will just give a default gateway. That would be best. All right. So if I say show route, and I should get the routes now. So I've got the EIGRP route, so I'm able to. Let's go ahead and give the sales PC if you're in order to default gateway on the sales and as well as on the marketing. That should be 10.0.0.1. And the marketing should be 10.0.1.1. Now, why I gave the default gateway is that whenever these PCs are coming in, so these servers are going to see their IP addresses. When they see that, okay, I do not know how to go there, so I don't have any default gateway. So that's why it might have a routing problem over there. So that's why I gave the default gateway. Now let's go ahead and configure the ASA with the CLI. Now, in the SSL VPN, we did not configure the certificate. So we will configure the certificate now. First, we will be doing the domain lookup, which will be on the management. And the DNS name server will be 150.1.7.200. Sorry, it is 27 in my case. And the domain name is sysable.com. And I will go ahead and I will say that no IP DNS server. And I will say IP DNS server. So this is my internal DNS server. This is my external DNS server. So IP DNS server. And currently what I'm doing is that the users are using the ISP DNS server, but my ASA will be using the internal DNS server to resolve that names. IP host sysable.com, that should be mapped to 27, and IP host sales.sysable.com mapping to 17.16.1.1. And IP host marketing.sysable.com host 17.16.2.1. So now, previously I was providing the actual IP addresses. Now I'm saying that my default, because the netting is going to happen, so it is going to resolve. So let's see if it is not able to resolve, then I will change back to the original IP address. So let's go back to the ASA now. So let's do that one. So first is that we need to create a certificate in order to have an handshake with our application, because we are going to provide the application. So users are able to download the application and install that application. So that's the reason we do have here. All right, so let's go ahead and upload the application first. So what I'm going to do is that first thing, I'm going to show you in both ways how you can upload your ASA, what do we say, AnyConnect application to the ASA. So first is that using the TFTP server or using the ASDM. So I will show you both of them. So this is my TFTP server root here. So I will turn the TFTP server. So this is my TFTP server, which will be running on 150.1.7.1. And here the name is so big. So what I will do, I will just do a rename and I will say that any. So AnyConnect, any.pkg. So it's short name. So what I will say that copy TFTP to flash or boot flash. It's only flash. The remote host 150.1.7.1, that is the one which is showing up over here. And the file name will be any.pkg file. Destination file should be the same and enter. If I come back here, you see that it's now uploading. So once this is being uploaded, I will also show you how to upload using the ASDM. So let it upload. All right, so this one is uploaded. So let's go to ASDM now. Go to 26. Continue. Now, if you want to upload using the ASDM, so you have to go to the tools now, and we will go to the file management. And you see that file transfer between your local PC or remote PC. Select the local one and go to that particular folder on the left-hand side. That should be TFTP. Yep, this one. And over here, you will find that file. So click on this button and over there, you see that it is going into the flash directly. Okay, this is how you can transfer the file with the ASDM. So if you like, you can go ahead with this one too. I will close this one, that's all done. So if I say that show flash, and I should see here. All right, so let's go ahead and configure create a certificate first. So first thing is that if you're not good with if you don't want to go ahead with the commands and don't dislike that one, you can straight away go ahead and just go to the wizard, VPN wizard, AnyConnect wizard, click on next, and it will ask you for the name. So I will say sales, click on next. Over here, it will automatically ask you the certificate. Click on add, provide the name, identity key, and provide the key name and everything. So once you provide, it will automatically generate the certificate. This is the shortest way and easy way. But I just want to show you with the commands also. So with the commands, we will say that crypto key generate RSA label ASAV modulus 1024. That is a key length. So it's going to generate a key pair. Next, crypto CA trust point will be trust. Enrollment will be self. And the FQDN will be asav.sysable.com. And subject name will be CN is equal to asav.sysable.com. Now key pair is what we have defined the key pair as capital ASAV. So be careful with that name. Use the exact name. And exit. So basically we define the key After generating the key, we have saying that we want to enroll, do the self-enrollment, and the attribute should be FQDN should be this one, subject name should be this one, and the key pair should be this one. So next, enroll that one, crypto CA, enroll trust. And he says that, would you like to continue with this enrollment? Say yes. Include the device serial number. So most of the time it should be no, but if you like, you can include it and generate a self-signed certificate. Say yes. So now your self-signed certificate is being generated. So if I go back to my ASDM, go to the VPN wizard, click on exit, AnyConnect, click on next and sales, go next. And now I should see that certificate here. So it should show up the certificate over here, but it's not showing up. So let me refresh. And now let's go back again. Here you go. You see that certificate is been created. So in any ways, if you like whichever way you are comfortable with, you can go ahead and create the certificate. Now, from now onwards, we will start off with the configuration. That should be web VPN, enable outside as usual. But this time it should be AnyConnect image disk 0 any.pkg. So this is the only reason I have renamed that file. Otherwise, you can use the whole file if you like. Next, I will say that AnyConnect enable on this interface, and I'm saying that tunnel group list enable as usual. The only two commands which are extra is that I am actually saying that the AnyConnect image will be this one, which is located into my flash, and I want to enable the AnyConnect on the outside interface. Next, since I have only one ASA, so NATing is again not possible over here. So I said that I want to do the NAT. So let's discuss that one now. So since my ASA is acting as a proxy now, so ASA has all the information here. It does not require any NATing or anything because the users are going to connect using their client. So the client will be connecting onto the outside interface, and from there it will drop. It will terminate that tunnel session from there, and it will start another session to your whatever the server which you are going to communicate, and it is going to provide those server details to you. So that's the reason now the NATing doesn't happens here because ASA itself is doing a proxy. So that means this is an invalid. So whatever the configuration I did over here becomes invalid because we are not pointing that IP address. We are not doing any NAT. So NAT will be applicable when you do have an ASA and you do have your remote PC and you do have one more ASA over here, and then you have your sales server. So now what happens is like at this point of time, this ASA is acting as a proxy. That's all good. But your inside network, again, on this one, you're doing the NAT. So the ASA also does not have the knowledge about the actual IP address of your sales. So that's where you will do the NAT on this ASA, that is the second ASA, and you will provide a route towards the second ASA with the NATed address. So in this scenario, this works perfectly fine. But over here in this scenario, even if I do the NATing, it's still not valid because it's a VPN. So ASA is acting as a proxy. So we do not even require a NAT. So let's go ahead and do the configuration right on our DNS. So I will go back here and I will say that, what can I say? No IP DNS server and IP DNS server, IP host will be cisco.com. That will be 150.1.7.27, and IP host sales.cisco.com. That will be 172.16.1.1, and IP host marketing.cisco.com 172.16.2.1. Now it's all done. If I go back to my ASA, now the ASA should be able to resolve that one. That is the sales.cisco.com. It's able to resolve now perfectly. Now this configuration we do not require over here, so we will just delete it. And 1.1.1 will still act as a DNS server on the ISP, but only to communicate with the ASA V. That's it. So here also I will say that no IP DNS server, and I will say IP DNS server, and I will say IP host asav.cisco.com pointing towards 210.100.1.1. That's it. All right. Once that is been done, so let's go ahead with the ASA configuration. Now we have to decide, since the traffic is coming from the outside, I need to define the access list. So what I will do is that I will say that access list sales. This time I will use the standard access list. I will say permit host 172.16.1.1. That is the sales server. Next, I will say that access list sales standard permit. Again, now I am permitting here. So permitting who? I am permitting to, what do we say, like DNS server. That is my 150.1.7.27. So once the AnyConnect VPN client is been connected, I want to allow access to the sales server. I want to allow access to my DNS server in order to resolve that name. That's it. Next, I want to create a pool. I will say that IP local pool. I will say it's sales pool. I will go ahead with the IP address of 11.1.1.1 to 11.1.1.10 with mask 255.255.0. So I'm using this pool whenever the ASA AnyConnect application is being connected or user is authenticated. So ASA AnyConnect will have a separate adapter, and that adapter will get an IP address from this pool, which will be used to communicate. So let's go ahead. Now I will say that group policy, same thing, sales internal, and I will say group policy sales attribute. Now this time, as you see that you can have more filters. Now I will say that DNS server value will be 150.1.7.27. And what can I say? VPN idle timeout. I will use the same thing, 2880. I will say that VPN filter ACL value, that should be sales, if you remember the standard ACL. And VPN tunnel protocol will be IKE version 2 SSL client. So AnyConnect is more secure with IKE version 2. Split tunnel policy, tunnel specified. So now I am saying that I don't want all the traffic to be forwarded over to the network. That means what happens is, like, if I forward all the traffic, so whenever the user is trying to communicate with the google.com, still the traffic will come to the ASA. From the ASA, it will go to the google.com. I don't want that one. So only traffic which is going to the interesting traffic should be forwarded, and apart from on that tunnel, apart from that, everything should be the direct communication. All right, so now I said that split tunneling policy, tunnel specified. So I need to specify those attributes, right? So what I will say that is split tunnel network list value sales. Now I say that I want to be a tunnel specific. The tunnel specific will be a network list. That network list is the access list, which is our sales. Next, I am defining the default domain value as cisco.com, and the split DNS will be cisco.com. Okay, that's domain, and DNS should be value cisco.com, and I will say that address pool's value will be sales pool. I think that's the name I have given. Let me check. Yep, sales pool. And after that, I will say that web VPN, AnyConnect, keep installer install. So I don't want the AnyConnect, once the AnyConnect has been installed, I don't want after terminating the session, I don't want the application to uninstall itself. Keep it installed every time. And always on VPN profile settings. So always it should be available always. And exit, exit, exit. Next, tunnel group sales type remote access as usual. And tunnel group sales. I'm using sales right everywhere in the group policy also. Yep, sales. I would say general attributes. And in this attribute, again, I'm using the default AAA server, that is the local database. But over here, I will just define the default group policy as sales. Next, tunnel group sales web VPN attributes. And again, the same thing, no changes here. Group alias sales enable. Next thing is that I need to define the encryption also with the AnyConnect. Yes, you have to define the encryption. So this is very much headache, but I will also show you with the ASDM. It's pretty easy with that one. So with the commands, it's crypto IK version 2 policy number 10. Encryption will be a yes, maybe 256. And protocol will be I think it should be integrity SHA-256, and the group I will use too. You can use any group. Next, crypto IPsec IK version 2 IPsec proposal, maybe VPN, any name. I'm saying that protocol will be ESP, encryption will be AES 256, and protocol again will be the ESP, and again for the integrity it should be SHA-256. I'm defining the same thing which I have defined in my policy. So within that proposal, I'm just defining the same values here. Next, I will say that crypto dynamic map DYN10 set IK version 2 IPsec proposal VPN. I'm setting things now. Crypto dynamic map DYN10 set reverse route. I want that reverse route to be enabled. Next, crypto map map. Just give it a name like 65,555 maybe. IPsec ISACAM dynamic. Okay, 665 crypto map. Okay, 5 maybe 25 IPsec ICAM. So it's the value. So I will say dynamic DYN and crypto map interface outside. So now I'm just creating a crypto map, just a value which is going to host this IPsec proposal, the VPN, which is going to call that proposal and which is going to negotiate that one with the application. And after that, I want to inject the reverse route. So that's why I have given the reverse route. And after that, I said that I want this crypto map, which is going to be applied on the outside. I'm calling the dynamic DYN. So basically one or the other way, we are just chaining up each and everything. So first I define the policy. All right. So first I defined the policy. This policy was called in within the proposal. Then this proposal was called in within the dynamic map. Then this dynamic was called within the crypto map, which is being applied on the outside. Next thing is that crypto IK version 2 enable outside. Client service will be on port number 443, encrypted always. And crypto IK version 2 remote access trust point. If you remember that the trust point I have created in the starting, that should be only trust. So crypto CA trust. So I'm calling the same certificate here now, trust. Next, SSL trust point, trust outside also. That's it. I was just Now let's go to the ASDM and see what are the changes. So I will go to configuration, remote access VPN. This time I will select the network client access. And if I go to the connection profile, you see that it's sales. Click on edit and you see that it's local and this one is the sales. So click on OK. Let's go to the AnyConnect client profile. And you see that I don't have any profile for that one. So basically I created each and everything like the encryption, what should be the encryption, how should be the tunnels and everything. The only thing is that the profile is been not called in here. So I will click on add. I will say that browse flash. Now it should be created. I will click on sales. I will say that sales. I will just give a name and I will select it's a VPN, AnyConnect VPN. It automatically created a profile with .xml file. And I said the group policy should be assigned is this one sales and enable the always on VPN. And if you select and click on edit now, you will have a different page here. Now over here, we are going to allow the Windows VPN establishment for the remote users also. So select the remote users. Next, going to the server list, I don't have anything. So click on add. So the connection will be made to asav.sysable.com. So I will select the same thing, paste it over here. And I think that should be done. Making sure this one is done. And also the main thing is that you see that primary protocol here, it is going with the SSL, but I will show you how to change it to IPsec later on. So click on OK, and click on apply. So now what I did was I created a profile. Now the user is able to see that profile, select that profile, and after that, the attributes have been attached to those profiles. Let's go to the group policy, which we have already created. Sales, click on edit, and you see that address pool is automatically assigned to sales pool. And you see that the filter VPN filter access list has been assigned. It is selected SSL VPN client with the IPsec version 2 and the ideal timeout is 2880. If I go to advanced, if I go to split tunneling, you see that tunnel network list below and that list consists of the access list. And that's it. We just making sure that it is assigned to the sales connection profile, click on OK. That's it. So now let's go to the advanced. In the advanced, I do have the IPsec. In that IPsec, I do have the crypto map. So if you see that the crypto map, edit here. So this is what we have created crypto map. IKE version 2 with the VPN. And here, no, click on OK. Now the thing is that by default, you see that the reverse route enable, which we have given the command. So that is also enabled now. Now, if I go to the AnyConnect client software, you see that the software has been uploaded over here, which we have done it by the TFTP. Next will be the user now. I will go ahead and create the same user, that is the sales user. And I will say that password will be Cisco 0123 and Cisco 0123 privilege level will be 15. Click on OK. And I will also create the marketing also. Select the privilege level as 15, click on OK and apply. And now if I go back to my AnyConnect connection profile, now group policy, select the sales, assign, and you see that I do have the local user. Select this local user, click on apply and apply. And also in the connection profile, we don't have anything to assign. Only on the group policy you should be doing, that's it. And coming to the DNS, again, the DNS should be enabled on the management. So I will say apply. Management is true. Now, Coming to the DNS, the DNS doesn't have any route, so I will give a default route. 150.1.7.26, and that should be good. So pretty much everything is done. So let's go to our PC, sales PC. And over here, I will, now these are the Windows 10 PC. So I am not sure what do we say, Java is installed or not in this one. So what I will do is that I will go to I will see whether the DNS name is resolved or not on this PC. So I'm running the Windows PCs on the GNS3, so that's why it is very slow. All right, so let's do ping asav.sysable.com. And again, on the ASA, I don't think so. I have given the show route default gateway, no. So if I say route outside 00 210.100.1.254, and now I should get the response. So it is able to resolve that one. So that's fantastic. So what I will do, I will say that https asav.sysable.com and click on details, go to the web page, and you see that it sales. Pretty much it looks like same, but we are going to download the client now. Sales user, and that should be Cisco 0123 and login. And would you like to save your password? Just click on never. I don't require that one. And now you see that it is now giving me that one. So attempting to use the Java for installation, and you see that Java detection is not there. So that's the reason it's giving me a problem. So I have to install the Java. So let me install the Java in both the machines and come back. Right, so Java is installed. So I will go ahead and you see that once the Java is installed, it is showing me to download the AnyConnect VPN. So I will select that one. And again, it is not able to download because that has been connected to different clouds. So I will change that settings now. Come back here and change the IP address. Right, that should fix the problem now. If I go ahead and do a refresh, and you see that it is now asking me to download the AnyConnect image. So click on save. And click on run. That's fine. So click on run. So click on next and accept. Click on next, install. Yep. Click on finish. And let me see. I will open that application now. Now I will do one more thing also on the ISP. I will say that IP HTTP server, IP HTTP authentication will be local, username will be Cisco, privilege will be 15, and password will be Cisco. Right, you see that ready to connect. So before we go ahead and ready to connect, we will click on settings now. And I will go to the preferences and I will make sure that it does not block untrusted servers, because currently I'm not trusting the certificate of the ASA, so it will give me an error. So I will uncheck that one, close that one, and now type in asav.sysable.com, and I will also turn on the packet tracer. And I will click on connect. So click on connect anyway. And it's giving me this one. So I will say that sales user, and that should be Cisco 0123. Click on OK. Establishing the VPN. So click on connect anyways, and you see that it is now going on to the TLS encryption. And now if I come back here, click on that one, my VPN is now connected. So if I go to the settings, close this one, go to the settings. And if I go to statistics over here, you see that I am connected, split included, and client IP address is 11.1.1.1. So ASA IP address over here, which will be acting as a proxy. And you see that this is the profile name. Currently the connection is TTLS certificate 1. And if I go to route details, and you see that I do have one route going for the sales one, another route going to the DNS one. That's it. Going to the firewall, message history, nothing. That's all good. So first what I will do is that I will first go to the since let me try and ping sales.sysable.com. Yep, it is able to resolve. That's fantastic. And now when I say the ping, you see that it is going into the DTLS, but when I ping 1.1.1, you see that I should be seeing that echo. So I should be seeing that open traffic, which is the 1.1.1. So let me go ahead and access the 1.1.1 on port number 80. So it should not be sending that traffic onto the tunnel, but this traffic is also being sent on the tunnel. So let me open any one of those. This one. All right. Transmission, nothing. So this traffic should be an open traffic that should be in the plain text, should be allowed. So let's go to the sales server now. So I will say that sales.sysable.com. I will say Cisco. And I will go to the privilege level 15. And I will say that show IP HTTP server history. And you see that it is all going on to the DTLS, but the one which was going on to the TLSV, that should be the 1.1.1. Right, so I'm able to access, I'm able to ping, and if I go back to my ASA now, and if I say that show VPN session database AnyConnect, and it should show me the details 11.1. So 11.1.1, let's go ahead and verify on the adapter now. So I will go to the adapters and you see that I do have these adapters. So right click on that one, click on status, click on details, and you see that 11.1.1 and assigned IP DNS will be 150.1.7.27. Next, if I say that show access list, I just make sure that I am hitting that access list. Yes, I am able to hit that access list. All right, so that was your AnyConnect using the CLI. I hope this was informative for you and thank you.